everyone, how are we doing? Mr. Flynn back at it again with PC Tier 7, and we're at good old Saudi Arabia tonight for a good old sprint race. So I'll tell you what, I'm very excited for that one today. Hello to Diamond and Vlad in the chat. Hope you guys are doing amazing, and everyone else watching at this moment of time, hope you guys as well are doing amazing. Going a little bit live earlier than usual. That is because, what did I say? That is because we're going to actually, for the first time this season, have a chat about the standings and the all the points and that. So we'll get into that in a couple of moments' time. But for now, we'll have a quick chat about the good old... Here we have it then. So the calendar for this season so far. We've only got 5 races to go until season 14 is over. So, yeah, not long to go until the season's over. But I'll tell you what, so far... we've had a brilliant season, awesome racing, and awesome action and stuff like that. Absolutely incredible. But no, we move on to Saudi Arabia today. A street circuit, which I'm looking very excited to. Going to be, I would say, the second street circuit of this season race thing so far, you could say. So we are covered as well by a good old sprint race. If you don't know what a sprint race is, basically you do a little bit of a short qualifying, which qualifies you for the sprint race, and then the sprint race, technically the same as a qualifying session, because then you're doing 9 laps around Saudi Arabia, and then you've got a 25 lap race, and that's the official race. So you've got qualifying to qualify for the sprint race, and the sprint race to qualify for the actual race. So hopefully that somewhat makes sense. If not, you'll find out about that later on, and hopefully it will make a little bit more sense later on. But anyways then, like I said, for the first time this season, let's head on over to the good old... So yeah, I managed to get it all working, so that's a very good thing. So having a look at the standings for this season so far, you got Toby in the Alpine. He's 117 points ahead of Faisal so far in the Ferrari, and the gap between those two people is about 32, so a little bit far off. So if Faisal wants to have a chance of taking the Drivers' Championship for season 14, he needs to get his head down and crack on and try and score a lot more points. But one driver that has really surprised me this season as well is Jay. He's had some quite unfortunate races, if I say so myself. But with Jay, right, he's had, like I said, some tough races and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, through the half of the season, he's then bounced back. He's got like P4, scored top 5, and then he's like gone to like win a race, podiums. And looking at the standings for him so far, currently in position of 3rd, and his standings is 84. So he's 1 point behind the Ferrari of Faisal. But in all fairness, Jay is only 33 points away. And looking at this rest of the race to go, if Jay can do well and score well, he can then, how do I say it? He can chomp down the gap towards Toby, who's currently taking the lead by almost a bit of a fair margin. So if Jay wants any chance of winning, he's got to get his head down, focus, and crack on with the season so far. But if you don't know, we are going to have a re-go of Baku, which will actually be, I would say, how do I say it? So Baku is going to be happening again, as you can see there on the standings right about here, after we had Austria, due to some server issues with EA. So we're going to play that again. So that will be happening later on in the season. So it'll be nice to see Baku once again, and hopefully we can have a good race this time. But looking elsewhere for the other driver standings, you got like what? You got 4 and 5 as well. They're like what, 53 points. You then got the Red Bull sitting around about 63. The gap between those drivers to P1 is 54 and 64. So the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as we go down the rest of the standings. And then one that everyone would love to see, which we're going to go to right now very quickly, is the team standings. And so far, Alpine have had quite a good season. as you can see. They are currently 148 points, and behind them, chomping down the gap very, very slowly, is indeed Ferrari. Of course, as you can see there, round 1 and 2, which was Brazil, and then USA, P18, P18. Not the best of races, but Ferrari have managed to bounce back and 20 points behind Alpine. 128 points to their name so far, so not too bad then. And you've got Red Bull as well, who have had a tricky season as well, but they, as well, they're coming back, 116 points. And then you've got AlphaTauri, currently P4 in the team standings, but they are like 91 points. They're currently almost half points back on the rest of the field. They're currently 57 points away from P1 and stuff like that. But if AlphaTauri can do quite well, which they have been doing for the season, then indeed they can come back bigger and stronger. And you got like Williams and Haas. They've not had the greatest chances of scoring as much points as they want to this season. Same with Alfa Romeo and McLaren and Aston Martin, which are currently tied on points. So there's a little bit of a battle as well for not only P6 but also P5, because Mercedes are at 35. So we could see a battle after the season finale of potentially P5 for the championship battle. So that's going to be quite an interesting one. Sorry, the team standing. I'm so confused now, but you guys get what I mean. So, yeah, stuff like that. But what we are going to do now is we've got around about like 2 minutes till the lobby should be good and as gold and ready to rumble. What we're going to do is we're actually going to move on over to a good old track review quickly. So here we are then at the Jeddah circuit tonight. Turns at 27 in total. So quite a lot of turns, to be honest. Obviously, with Jeddah as well being the second street race track of the race calendar so far. It's not really a tricky circuit to be honest, because you've got massive straights, which is not hard to crash on, but if you make that one mistake, if you go wheel to wheel with someone and tap their tyre, that could send them into the wall. That could potentially be you into the barriers, which is not ideal. But yeah, quite a lot of straights, and the tricky part of the track is probably going to be down into turn 1 area. As you can see there, so many numbers. We'll see how it goes tonight, because I probably won't be saying every single turn number on the track tonight, because there's just, like I said, there's just so many. But no, you've got 2 DRS detection zones. You've got one on the I'm trying to think, is it in sector 2 or 3? Let's have a quick look, because I've got the track map thing on my side. So your first DRS zone is going to be in the detection zone of 17 and 18, and that is going to be in sector 2. And then you got your second, which is in sector 3. So you got 2 massive back streets of DRS in sector 2 and sector 3. And then when you exit turn 27, of course, up to the start and finish line, you get another juice, another hint of good old DRS. So yeah, not much to complain about that one, but we're going to see how close these drivers can get tonight. This is going to be quite an interesting one, because I know that Jay's been getting a little bit more feisty and a little bit more punchy and powerful, and I know Jay 110% can show his race pace here once again at WOR Racing. So yeah, we're going to move back to the intermission screen now, just so you can see my and wonderful face. Hello once again, and I am just going to get some things up on my screen, and we're basically going to sit tight and wait for the race to begin, really. So at this moment in time, I appreciate everyone's patience and stuff like that, but we won't be too long now. Once we get into the racing, we're going to see how it goes tonight, because it'll probably be a lot of fun. As we've got Crankshaft doing the good old ready up, so I believe the drivers are getting ready to go. So you guys just bear with for a couple more moments. I'll be in the lobby, be cracking on, and then we will get into it. So let me just get the track map up on my screen again, because me being me, I decided to close it because I am smart. So Bear with one moment. There we are. All loaded up. And then I can just zoom out a little. Just so I can see the track numbers. Because that would be quite a tricky thing to learn. Because there's just so many turns on this track. And I don't get how people can memorize it. Which is, yeah, quite an interesting one. But what we will talk about quickly as we're waiting to ready up and stuff like that is you've got to remember in 2022 you had that pretty harsh crash by who was it? It was Mick Schumacher who had that crash in the Haas, and he went into the wall. I'm trying to think where it was. It was probably, I can't remember now. I'm trying to think. I believe he had the crash in sector 1 somewhere, I want to say, but I'm not too sure. So my brain is not wanting to produce any helpfulness today, so we will see how that one goes. But for now, like I said, we're going to sit tight, wait for everything to get sorted and stuff like that. Ah, Jay is saying a last corner of sector 1. Thank you for the help, Jay. That does help quite a lot. Thank you. Very kind of you to come in the chat and help out with that one. And Jay, good luck for tonight's race. Hope you do well, buddy. I will be cheering you on and the other racers as well. So, short qualifying, sprint race, and then the main race. It's going to be a long stream today, I'll tell you that now. It's going to be quite a long one. So, we'll sit tight and wait to get loaded in. Yeah, like I was saying, Jay, to the stream earlier, if you have a good few more races in like podium positions or win a race, you could actually still be in a chance to win the driver's standings. So keep up the good work, and you could possibly be there, buddy. But yeah, I'm not getting loaded in, so I will flick over to that screen once I get everything set up on my side, and then we will switch over and look at some cars go on a track. Here we are then. Let me just get everything sorted and I'll be with you guys in just a moment. Alright, there we have it then. Let's switch on over. There we have it then. We are in the lobby. Everything is going well today. Why has that muted on my side? There you go. Sorry about that, guys. Should be able to hear the game audio now. Don't know why it does that. It keeps muting, but I don't know if it's because I'm pressing a wrong button, but I don't think I am, so I got no idea why it keeps doing that. But looking at the drivers exiting the pit lane, some drivers like EVS wanting to get out of the pit quite early, which is quite an interesting one, because I wouldn't expect some drivers to be out already, because you probably sit there for a couple of minutes and be thinking, what wings would I go and stuff like that, and just wait like probably a little bit more time so you can plan your setup and stuff like that. But no, the Mercedes straight out of the pit lane, followed by Sergi in P4 currently, but obviously it's a mixed grid at the moment because no one's set a lap here, so we're going to see what drivers and what pace they could potentially have today. And then, like I said, all the other rest of the drivers, Moggy, I got no idea how you say the name, so I'm going to go with IRT in the McLaren, Chayu in the Haas, Jay in the AlphaTauri, of course, and then you have Tony and a Fozo. But I believe everyone's leaving the lobby. So I believe we've already got a lobby restart. Oh, it is a restart. Okay, we have got a restart, guys. So apologies about that one. I am going to the screen and back to our beautiful face. And yeah, so we're going to get a restart on qualifying. So sit tight. We will not be too long. And yeah, we'll get things sorted, up and running. And yeah, just give us a couple of moments. But yeah, if you guys have anything to say in the chat, feel free to say prediction-wise, strategies, anything, and we can, you know, chat about those and see if we could be right tonight. Because I know in another league, which I do comms for, I predicted a driver from P20 to get into the points, and he actually managed to get P8. So that was a very good prediction from myself. So I was pretty chuffed about that one. But no, let me know, guys. What are your predictions for today's race? And yeah, Jay, no worries. I did realize I was a restart because I thought, why is there so many drivers retiring? We wouldn't get any drivers crashing with only 16 minutes started on the clock of qualifying. So yeah, pretty unexpected, but it is what it is. But I'm going to see if Crankshaft has set up the lobby, and I'll just join off his profile. So let me just have a look and see what is going on. No, he's not done it just yet, so we'll give him a couple of moments, and then we should be back racing once again at Jeddah. So what could we talk about? Obviously, what are your guys' thoughts on the latest F1 race, which was Bahrain? Who are you rooting for? And I tell you what, with Alonso's spicy battles with Carlos Sainz and Hamilton, I'd say they're pretty fun to watch, you know. So that was quite fun. And of course, the F1 is back at it again at Jeddah, where, funny enough, we're racing tonight. So it's kind of like IRL. We're getting the game version done and dusted with Jeddah, and then you got the actual one happening this weekend as well. So you could say race week. Good race, to be honest. It was indeed, Jay. It was absolutely awesome to watch, buddy. Fernando, indeed. Fernando Alonso. I just can't believe in an Aston Martin managed to somehow get around a Mercedes, and then Stroll manages to get around a Mercedes. You know, Stroll had an injury, only had 2 weeks of recovery, and he manages to get P6. Unbelievable. Shocking, you know. And then, yeah, like Alonso getting around Hamilton into turn 10, a little bit of a dive, getting past the Mercedes, and then getting past Sainz for P3. First podium of the season so far. First race for Aston Martin, and already a podium. So I could predict a very good season for Aston Martin. Predictions for the next race? To be honest, I can possibly see Red Bull being quite dominant, as there was some team radio of Max just being told to cruise. So there's more power and speed in the Red Bull engine. So we haven't seen the full potential Red Bull yet, so we wait to see what happens. But I would say possibly, I want to say Perez. So my top three, sorry, Perez, possibly Leclerc, and then Alonso in P3. So Alonso, I believe he could get another podium, because like everyone says, it's not about talent, it's about skill, and it's also about the driver. You know, I'd say Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are very talented people, don't get me wrong, but it's all about the driver and the skill you have, and Fernando really showed that. You know, he really did show that you can get into pole position, or not pole position, sorry, into P3, and find your way around everyone else, really. So yeah, we're back in the lobby though, and everyone's just getting sorted, and then we'll be starting again for the race, hopefully. And then we'll restart, and then we'll get into it. But yeah, that's my predictions for the next race: Perez, Leclerc, and then Fernando. Fernando definitely in the mix of that, because Aston Martin is looking very, very pacey, especially for Bahrain. So yeah, that's my predictions. What are your predictions? Let me know. Bom, bom, ba-dom. But yeah, just sit tight and wait now. So, who we got in the lobby tonight then? So, we have got, obviously, Sergi, Button, Moggy, Crankshaft, Toby, Chris, Must, Fasol, Tony, we've got in the lobby today. Also got, other drivers running as well? Oh, okay, Max 1, Charles 2, Russell 3. That's a pretty good prediction, to be honest. Yeah, I could go with that, you know. I could go with that, but I don't know. The Aston Martin just seems to have built quite a decent race car this season, so we'll just sit tight and really see what happens, because we could be for a very interesting and exciting, like I said, season ahead of us. But oh, it's gonna be a good one. Hopefully no more big crashes, you know. I mean, everyone was saying that Mick took a really hard shunt in the last sector of Jeddah, like sector 1, end of that bit, and I'll tell you what, everyone says it was quite a big crash, but apparently what I got told by someone is that the cars are meant to do that. It causes a massive massive destruction, but the cars are meant to do that. So I was like, oh, okay, so it looks big, but it's not that serious. But surely it would be, right? Because if you've got car parts flying off a car, that's not good if it's flying off every single left, right and centre. But I got told by someone that it's meant to happen, and they were okay and they were safe. But I think the opposite, because he hit that wall pretty hard. So we'll see what happens, because also the car's a little bit different to last season. Obviously last season we were in the 130s for Bahrain, and then Perez and Max in the Red Bulls in the 129. So there's something going on there. Cars got a little bit of a different aero, so yeah. But once again, we are getting back into the lobby, so apologies for that awkward restart. And we'll get straight into good old qualifying and see who the fastest user will be on the track for today. And he will take home the crown in the race. Because like I said, the top 2 in the championship standings, Fasol, I believe he's on 85 points, and Jay is only on 84, so it's quite close for the top 2, but they could really catch P1 if they just focus and grind and go, go, go. So the objective for today's race is to make sure Toby doesn't win the race, and they've got to make sure Toby scores less points than them, so it makes it easier for them to catch up. But lobby's back up, we're in qualifying, let's get into today's race. Then. So all the drivers sitting in the pit lane, 17 and 39 seconds on the dots, on the clock, and we just sit tight and we wait to see who will come out on the track and which driver will be victorious today in qualifying and for the race and sprint as well. So quite loud in the pit lane, as you can see right there. So most of the drivers exiting the pit lane. I say that, it looks like the whole like lobby is getting out there, so why not follow them? As I just need to quickly minimize. Oh no, I don't need to minimize, that's fine. Enough about that. Have a look. So obviously we've got Sergi out on the track as well. Once again, drivers in different spots so far, but this obviously doesn't predict the grid order. They've got to go around the track and see what kind of lap they can produce, as the Red Bull driver there going a little bit wide in sector 1 there, in that I would say a tricky part of the track where if you lose the car a little bit and take a bit too much curb, your car will go full on send into the wall, which these drivers, they don't want to be in the walls today. They want to be comfortable have a good race, get it done, and be flying, you know? Absolutely zoomies. So yeah, Luca as well on the Ferrari, back. Nice to see him again. I think he had a little bit of a break. He was quite busy for the last couple of days. So sector 2 now. Obviously on his outlap, so take it nice and chill. And yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on board with... Oh, okay, it's Sergi who got out the quickest, out of the pit lane. So right on board with the Williams then. So down to turn 1, DRS are wide open for Sergi himself. Turn number 1, 2 and 3. Not going too deep as well, which is a massive key factor in here. But how close are the drivers going to get close to the wall today? That's the main objective here today. So in the area of turns 6, 7 and 8 now, and Sergi absolutely flying. This 10 and the 10, 11 corner now. Yeah, within track limits, so nothing too bad there. Sector 1 also going to be a purple, of course, as he's the first driver to set a lap here at Jeddah so far. This tricky left-hander now as he almost loses the back end there. That's definitely not ideal for the Williams, so he would have lost a couple of seconds there. And right now, he's on the charge in turns 17, 18 and 19, where the DRS is now activated once more, and the wing will be open down to turn number 22, 23 and 24. As he leaves 24 though, DRS once again down this massive back straight, so he's going to get even more DRS, and he's going to be absolutely flying down to turn 27, I believe, where he gets the left-hander, and then once again gets DRS again up to the start and finish now. And you want to hug that inside line to see what kind of time he could produce it up to the line. And it's a 1:29.6. Not bad there from the Williams. But we're going to have the Mercedes of Moggy now come across the line. He's on a one... oh no, he's not. He's starting. He's invalidated, so I'm guessing he didn't set a lap time. Must up to the line a 1:29.6, and then you got OML doing a 1:29.5. Not bad from the Aston Martin and the Red Bull right there. Jay's first banker lap, P4 1:29.6. Not bad from the AlphaTauri there. The teammate of OML and the other Aston Martin goes across the line at 1:31. I believe you have more time to find, so hopefully he can in the Aston Martin. Toby right behind Jay right now, and Toby leading the championship, doing a 1:29.8, so he's still got more pace to find, so hopefully he can find that pace and be in the top 5 or top 1, 2 and 3. As we had lately, Luca going across the line, a 1:29.5, so Luca and OML pretty close on lap times, but then out of nowhere, the Red Bull across the line, a 1:29.2, as we've got the Mercedes of Shane, I want to say it is, or Shay I'll go with. He's actually crashed in turn, I don't really know, to be honest. Oh no, sorry, down in turns 2 and 3, and that is him done for, what is it, done for this session. So he is out, he is gone. Most of the drivers on a in-lap, but some on a quick lap, I believe. AlphaTauri, I don't believe is on a lap. We're going to run on board to see if he is. He isn't, no, he's quite down this time, so he'll be into the pit lane. Moggy into the pits as well. McLaren out on the outlap. Fasol going fastest in Sector 1 so far. So where is he going to be able to put his Ferrari today? Hopefully in a very, very tasty and spicy position, so he can be quite competitive for today in his race. So as we're riding on board with the Ferrari, looking at the grid so far, we had the Haas across the line of Stone, I believe. He came across the lines to 1:34. Chris in the AlphaTauri teammates with Jay came across the lines to 1:37. Also riding on board with the Ferrari, still finding so much pace in that car so far. Quickest in Sector 2. Could he be quickest in Sector 3 and possibly the quickest driver overall on the track? Up to turn 27 now. Exit turn 27. He's going to get that rear wing open up, and basically he wants to hug that inside line, but he's not But never mind, he's into the pit lane. So Fasol setting a lap, but then aborting. So hasn't set a banker yet as we go on board with Tony now in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see what he can show us and see what he can produce here at Jeddah today. Turns 1, 2, and 3. Exit of turn 3. Not too bad there. So there's a little bit of a, I'd say a little bit of a glitch with the game, and the wheel of that Mercedes is still stuck on the track. So that is definitely not ideal. So hopefully that didn't put Tony under pressure. And hopefully it didn't distract him, but it might have done it just a little bit, as he has a little bit of a wiggle there, managing to stay within track limits, which is quite ideal and quite good there. A 33 3 in Sector 1 so far, so not a bad Sector 1 for the Alfa Romeo so far. I'm actually quite surprised that he's actually out on the track quite early today. For the last 2 races, I believe he was not out on the track. He was out on the track with like a minute or 2 to go. So not ideal for the Alfa Romeo, but hopefully he can be quite competitive today, as he had last week's race, which was Bahrain, and I believe it was Portimao. He kind of struggled, so hopefully he can be in some scoring opportunities today. But now in Sector 3, up to turn 27 shortly. DRS open, and then when he starts braking at turn 27, like now, DRS once again, the detection zone right there, the little white line, as you might have saw there, hopefully on the screen. He's going to be up to the line. And what kind of lap time is he going to produce? Up to the line, probably in the 1:30. It is 1:36, and yeah, P10. And he said 8. Don't know why he said 8. So no ideas yet why he said 8. But we'll move on to the McLaren of Pap up to the line. Where's this one going to put him? It's a 1:32.0. So P12 for the McLaren. So interesting is he had a little bit of a spin there, actually. Going a little bit too deep at turn 1 there. Not ideal, so hopefully there's no one on the lap. I don't think there is anyone on the lap, which is very, very, very good there. Yeah, so anyone else on a lap? Chris is going to be starting another one. Tony's just finished one. There's not much going on, unless there was IRT. You know, he's on an out lap. It's going well so far. Can't find anyone that's on a lap. The Red Bull Must, I think, is on a lap. He is indeed, and he's improving on his time. Gone purple in Sector 1. So we're right on board with the Red Bull of Must and see what competitive lap he could, you know, produce here. So, Sector 2 now, up to the tricky part of the track. Obviously not this part of the track, it's not tricky in Sector 2. He'll get DRS shortly, as he now does. So riding on board with the Red Bull himself. The Ferrari moving out of the way there, very nicely done there. Toby has actually, I believe he's had a moment there and he's crashed in Sector 1. So that's not ideal for the championship leader so far. There's a McLaren and there's also an Alfa Romeo, so hopefully they don't spoil the fun for the Red Bull. The Red Bull having to dodge that there. Hopefully he didn't get too much dirty air from the drivers there. But the Red Bull, DRS active, up to the line, exit at turn 27. Where is this one going to put him? Is it going to be competitive enough for pole position? It is indeed, and it's a 1:28.6. The first driver to be in the 1:28. So that's an awesome lap from the Red Bull there. His teammate, though, is improving in Sector 2. So what can he show and what can he produce as he comes up to Sector 3 now, where he's improved? Oh, Sector 2, sorry. So I'm guessing Sector 1 he improved. Sector 2 he did. But he's invalidated, which is not ideal. But I think he might keep on pushing, and we might ride on board with the Red Bull if he doesn't box and see what kind of lap time he could have been on for and see if it was going to be competitive enough for pole position. So hopefully he doesn't box, but I get the feeling he will. And he does. Obviously, going to go on a fresh set of tyres. IRT as well, up to the line. Going P3 with a 1:29.1. And I believe that was his first ever lap so far in qualifying. So far, IRT having an amazing time in the McLaren so far. Awesome. Awesome stuff here tonight at Tier 7 at Jeddah itself. Riding on board with Luca, going almost half a second quicker in Sector 2. Now in Sector 3 up to turn 27. I'm kind of interested where this one is going to be. Maybe the new pole sitter. Up to the line, Luca goes. Is it going to be quicker? It's not, but he goes P2 for 1:28.7. The second driver to be in the 1:28s. Chris has invalidated, so he's not going to be improving on his time. Let's go down to Jay, who's currently in P10. Not ideal for him if he wants to be a contender for the championship. Up to the line, and it's P5 in the 1:29.2s. So not really in the 1:28s just yet, but hopefully if he can squeeze one more lap in, he could also be in the 1:28 as well. OML was on an outlap right now. AD is well on the outlap button. He's in the pits. Tony on an outlap. It's got to be someone else on the lap. Gotta be Haas, maybe. Haas is in because he's low on battery, so he's also down his time. So here it won't be showing. Running on board with OML, who's going to be starting a lap here, so we'll have a look. But there is a Ferrari going quite quick, so I want to make sure it's not... Oh, no, it's not, because it's a Luca. He's finished a lap, so never mind. Getting myself a little bit confused. On board with OML himself in the Aston Martin. Starting a lap here at Jeddah tonight. Turns 1, 2, and 3 now. Late braking, not going too deep, which is actually quite ideal. And I must say, that wasn't too bad, but he had a moment there on the exit of turn 3, I believe that is. And I don't think that was the Mercedes getting in the way, if he was getting on the power a little bit too early. So that's not ideal. That would have surely lost him a little bit of time. But we're right on board with OML himself to see if he's improving in Sector 1. Up to the line now. He's almost down by a second. That is really not good for the Aston Martins. I think he's going to abort and attempt again. Hopefully, which I believe he does because battery isn't draining, so he's definitely going to be into the pits or maybe even into getting ready to do another lap ball. Could be possibly into the pit lane with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Mercedes on the track. Moggy on a outlap, and I believe it's Tony who we're going to ride on board with again to see if he is improving on his time, but he seems to be going very, very slowly. So he won't be setting a quicker lap as he's 13 seconds down his delta. So that is a definite no-no from the Alfa Romeo there. Quite surprisingly, Chris on an outlap looking quite competitive tonight. P3 right now. I don't think I've really seen him in the, like, you know, podium area. So it's quite nice to see Chris here as he's actually getting ready to start a lap at Jeddah. So we're going to ride on board with him just down into turn 1 because I believe Moggy is on up. So we're going to ride on board with Moggy to see what he can produce and what he can do. Chris now down to the line. Turns 1, 2, and 3. Very tidy. No back end lost either. Going a little bit deep though out of the corner exit, almost smacking the wall. But I don't think that's lost him any time whatsoever. So we'll come back to him in just a second. As never mind, he has invalidated, so he's going to have to abort that lap and charge up and go again. So we're going to go back with Moggy, and I don't know if he's improving on his time. So we'll get down to the white line of Sector 2 and see what he can produce. And, oh, it's his first lap, so he could be quite competitive here as he goes fastest in Sector 2, but you never know with the F1 game if that's actually right or wrong. Hopefully it's right, though, because it'd be quite nice to see Moggy up in the top 10 and possibly the top 5, or in the podiums, because Moggy is had a tough season, so I think he would like some good luck for today. So we'll see how he does. He's going to be up to the line. Where is this one going to put him? Bish Bash Bosh is P6. With a 1:29.2. Not bad from the Mercedes there. Is Tony out on a lap? Or on a lap? He is on a lap, but he's currently 0.027 down on his delta right now, which isn't ideal. Up to the line, P15. No improvement there. He stays P15. No improvement this time. Stays there as well. Stone. He is on a lap down to turn at number 3 now. No back end loss. Quite a nice exit there. Very good from the Haas there. Sergi out on a lap. Currently P8, so he's having quite a good qualifying session so far himself. Jay on an out lap. Chris back on an out lap, or maybe on an in lap because he's invalidated once again. And that's down in Sector 1, so Chris starting to struggle, which isn't ideal. We've only got 40 seconds of qualifying to go. So I'm just having a look to see what drivers are on a lap, just to make sure I get the right ones first. And I believe AD is on a lap. He is down his delta though in Sector 1. Sector 2, he's got to bring it home and try and improve a lot more than he can. But he's hitting that wall and scraping that wall as he exits that area, which is not ideal. As the Aston Martin of OML actually has seemed to have binned it. So that is his qualifying done and dusted. P11 for the Aston Martin. OML will not be pleased with that one, I'll tell you that now. Not happy with that indeed. Checker flag has dropped, and the Aston Martin doesn't seem to be improving. He gets a nice little bit of a tow from the McLaren, but I think AD, with no massive improvement, he'll be staying P13 as we're going to go on board with the Red Bull right now. He has improved, I believe, in Sector 2. Turn 27 now, up to the line for him very, very shortly, as we had the Aston Martin cross the line and did not improve whatsoever. Up to the line for the Red Bull. P3 with a 128.8. The third driver to get in the 128s now, as we're going to ride on board with... we need to find someone quickly. Is it Button? Button is up in his time by a lot and by a mile. Up to the line, it's P12, a 129.7. The Ferrari Fasol up to the line. He goes P4 for 128.9. Not bad from him there. Luca, what can he show? He is up on his time even more in Sector 2. Sector 3 now. Exit at turn 27 up to the line with DRS open. Hopefully he can produce something more at WOR tonight. And he does, you know, a 128.5. Even quicker than Must in the Red Bull. So not a far margin between the top two right now. But we set eyes on no one else, because I've just realised that is it for qualifying. So, why is it not letting me go up? There we go. Thank you, game. That's it. That was quite a nice qualifying to watch. Very entertaining. A lot of stuff happening there. So, I was quite pleased to watch that, you know, guys. What was your guys' thoughts if you're watching? If you guys are lurking, appreciate the lurk as well. But looking at it, look at that. Astonishing. Luca, P1 for 128.5. Followed very closely by the Red Bull of Must, P2. 0.014 seconds is the gap between the top two. And obviously down to P number 11, up to number 1. The gap is all in for 1 second, which is quite ideal for those drivers there. And then you got P12 down to P16, quite far off. And then you got 17, 18, and 19 not setting a lap or crashing in qualifying. So, not ideal for those drivers down there. Anyways, then, we're going to get everything set up quickly because I'm going to get Discord on my screen and the turns up on my screen as well. And we are unfortunately getting another lobby restart. So, ladies and gentlemen, really, really, really sorry about that. So, also out of my hands. So, we're going to sit tight once again and we'll switch over to the intermission screen. And we will wait for the lobby to be redone again. So yeah, apologies guys. Like I said, out of my reach. Not much I can do, unfortunately, and we will not be too long, so I do appreciate everyone's patience. We're going to move over to the good old interview once again, and yeah, we'll have a chat about qualifying. So let me see if I can find the results on the stream by going backwards a little bit. Okay, I've got it up on my screen now, so we're going to get the lobby restarted, and then we'll be back for the race, which is 9 laps around Jeddah for a sprint race quickly, and then we'll get back into it with a spicy race. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I do apologize for all this. Obviously, like I said, out of my reach, not much I can do, unfortunately. So as we're back with the intermission screen once again, let's have a look at the standings. Or not standings, sorry. The short qualifying. So if you don't know, obviously we had qualifying very, very quickly. What I can do, I believe, is if I work my magic, I could possibly go to the standing. And there we go. So a little bit confusing for you guys. As you can see, you've got the results right there as we're looking on the past broadcast of WOR Tier 7. But I just thought, you know what, as we're waiting once again, we'll have a bit more chat about qualifying. So whilst we're waiting, appreciate everyone's patience so far. So yeah, let's get straight into things. So obviously we had good old Jay qualifying P3. Probably not happy with his qualifying so far, as if you have a look how far off he is compared to the top two. Now, let's have a chat about the top two. Absolutely insane to start with from Luca, going faster by only a little bit, which is a 128.5, the fastest car on the track so far. And then you got Must in the Red Bull, right? In the Red Bull, a 128.5 and 0.014 separating the top two. Now that is like something I can't get over, and is more crazy and unbelievable minute by minute. So yeah, that is quite astonishing. And then obviously you got the rest of the grid from let's say P4 down to P number 11. Obviously, like I said, up from like 11 to 1. Like I said, literally a couple of seconds ago. As you know, they're all within 1 second. But mainly when you get to P6 with the AlphaTauri teammates with Jay, known as Chris, P6, and he's like half a second behind the top 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So Chris, after having a good qualifying session halfway through, getting to the end when the other drivers are coming across the line, setting faster lap times, he's done in P6. But with his pace so far in qualifying, 100% he could be into a podium chance, possibly a double podium for AlphaTauri, because trust me, they would like it, and they would need it for their battle, potentially, I believe it's for P3 in the constructors. So that is always on the list itself. But Toby is one driver in particular that's quite surprised me and gave me a bit of a shock. He crashed down in Sector 1 in turn, I want to say 4 area or maybe 3, down in P13. And that is the championship leader, just to confirm. So that's not ideal from Toby right there. So Toby will need to find a lot more pace and show that he is the driver to be watching. Because obviously he's in the Alpine, and then maybe, just maybe, other race engineers or team principals and stuff like that might want to steal him. But so far, Toby down in P13. So Fasol And definitely Jay will be happy that he's out of the points so far. So they can score extra points here today as they've got a sprint race. That's going to be quite fun. Right. So, as we're talking about that, we're going to get back to the intermission screen because we're ready to go as Crankshaft has made the lobby once again. So bear with, guys. We'll get in the lobby and then we will get into the sprint race and stuff like that. So just bear with. Appreciate everyone's patience today. Apologies. I know it can be quite annoying, lobby restarts, but it is what it is. It's not Crankshaft's fault. So let's get through that one. It's not his fault, you know. It's just he's had to be rushing, so it's not his fault, you know. I'm not going to blame anyone here. We're not going to play the blame game today. So just sit tight. We'll get into the lobby, and we'll get sorted once again. As we've got all 19 drivers, I believe, in the lobby and are ready to go very, very shortly. So this is going to be quite fun. Yeah, just sit tight, and everything will be fun. Ba-ba-da-ba-doo. Right then. So, yeah, sorry about that. I was just typing to someone because I didn't want to forget, because it's me and I normally forget here and there. So yeah, sit tight. We won't be too long, guys. I really do appreciate everyone's patience. Yeah. So Crankshaft, like I said, just get everything set up, and then we will be back into the sprint race and stuff like that. So like I said, I really do appreciate everyone's kindness, patience, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all I can say at the moment because there's not really much to say as well. So yeah. Just sit tight and wait, guys. And yeah, but like I said, as I always will say as well, hopefully everyone is well and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, any predictions, feel free to let me know. Of course, I'd love to know him and stuff like that. So yeah, cannot wait. Yeah, just sit and wait now. Should be getting going shortly. Let's see what the hold up is. But everyone's readying up now, so I'm guessing we're now readying up. Let me just see what's going on. Have a nosy. Okay, we're going. Okay, we're going, and we'll get ready for the sprint race. So once again, like I said, I appreciate everyone's patience, but we're not getting into it. So don't worry about that. Don't worry indeed. Appreciate everyone sitting by as well. And yeah, good luck to everyone. And hope everything goes well for you guys today. As, like I said, we're getting loaded in again. So I believe it's straight into... it's into the sprint. Nice, it's into the sprint. Into the sprint we go. Like Ben Daly would say, if you don't know him. Very good YouTuber. As Ben Daly would say. Into the race weekend. And just a little spinny Batman logo, which I'll tell you what, watching his videos, I do actually like that combination. So, yeah, GG's to that one. Yeah. Right, okay. I think it's the appropriate time to stop talking about that, get the track map up my screen, which we have, and get to the good old gameplay screen. So let's do that now. Here we are then, loading in to the lobby, back in again, and gonna have some of my water because I'm gonna need it. Gonna need it. Trust me, I will need the water. Here we go then. Hope everybody is excited as we've got the whole pit crew doing the T-pose once again. So here we go. 16 seconds until we get going. Yeah. Remember setups. Right then, as we get ready with the cars on the grid, PC Tier 7, Season 14, Round 9 of Jeddah, 5 red lights, and it should be lights out and away we go, and the Ferrari gets quite a good reaction, but the Red Bull itself not doing too bad itself. Those two actually going wheel to wheel for turn 1. The Red Bull, is he getting a better exit than the Ferrari? Yes, he does indeed, and the Ferrari is getting swallowed up by Jay right now. Red Bull, double podium for them so far on lap number 1. Jay comfortably sitting in P number 4, and I must say, it's not looking bad for him. Fassel, P6 right now. Jay actually losing out of position to Fassel and the McLaren so far as he's gone wide in turn what was it? I want to say turn 8 and 9 area in sector 1, but sector 2 now he needs to focus. He needs to stop making those little errors and just focus and go basically. Alrighty then. Looking at the rest of the grid, the Haas of Stone is looking fairly close on the rear wing of Sergi, riding on board with the Haas right now, potentially wanting to make the move as soon as he can. Now in sector 2, going to be now sector 3, and the Haas there looking quite speedy and comfortable right now. We've got positions down below as well from Chris, who's actually lost out to that one, so he's probably had a moment in turn 1, a bit of contact with a few drivers. And he's down to P17 as actually the Haas actually going around the outside of the AlphaTauri there. Down to turn 27, he takes up position, and Crankshaft himself potentially looking to make a move on Chris himself, which I bet he will, as Chris has that massive moment, which is not ideal. Both Red Bulls either swapping positions or getting too close for comfort for each other, so you don't want to make any major mistakes. Luca actually down in P4 now, so I'm guessing the McLaren must have made a little bit of a aggressive, how do you call it? Aggressive move on the Ferrari, which made the Ferrari back out or something like that. But no, looking at everyone else, we've got yellow flags in sector 1. Looks like a AlphaTauri that's had a moment of Chris, and that's Crankshaft who's gone from P19 up 2 positions to P17. Not bad from the Alpine right there. Alrighty then, riding on board with the other drivers. Like I said, not much going on. There's not much to say at this moment of time. But Tony looking quite racy today. P13 maybe looking to close in on the McLaren as one more lap and we'll get DRS activated as well. Yeah, right now the race starting to chill out as we had OML, who I believe qualified out of the points, now P9, looking to get a move on here and make a potential move up to P number 8 on Sergi. But it's all the crosshair of how long can Sergi keep ahead of the Aston Martin as the McLaren. So it's the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:31.7. And Luca looking quite comfortable now, just chilling. Same with Fassel, just chilling. Jay as well, either got damage or he's just chilling, because also Jeddah is known for quite a tricky track to overtake. So pretty smart if they're just waiting to pick up the scraps, which is actually not a bad idea. And stuff like that, as we've got a Haas going slowly there, then going faster again. So he's had a moment probably somewhere in sector 1 as well, but not really much to say at the moment for the top 5. The top 5 close together, but not looking to make any positions left, right and centre just yet. Sergi managing to be a little bit quicker than the Aston Martin so far, almost, and I say almost. He is out of the 1 second range of the Aston Martin, so that's not ideal for him. As Sergi can keep within that second with the car in front, he'll get the hint of DRS, and the Aston Martin will lose out to that one. But I believe Sergi is going to get it, but the Aston Martin is not going to get it. So the Aston Martin's not, he's going to drain the battery, but Sergi's got a very helpful hint of the DRS now, down to sector 3 now. Sergi is out of the DRS range, possibly getting back into it, which he is. And he's going to get another hint of DRS, and OML is not. So Sergi finding it easy right now. We've got Toby P11, not ideal for him. Chris getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Running on board with the championship leader right now, who needs to score points here today, needs to get into the top 10, have a good sprint race session and stuff like that, as both of the Red Bulls down to turn number 1. Switching positions, which is not a bad idea, you know. Don't lose any time. If one car's quicker down to turn 1, let them buy, let them drive, and then switch again on whatever lap it could be. Chris, 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Not ideal of him possibly retiring from the race, but I don't think he will. He'll be starting, or he does DNF from the race. He'll be starting P19 in the sprint race today. But Toby, all over the back of Button right now, looking to make the move very, very shortly, hopefully. Yeah, elsewhere though on the grid, like I keep saying, not much. And as I say that, Jay losing it on the sector 2 area on the left banker, not ideal. Down to P13, could potentially have wing damage. That's really not good. Actually spun at turn 13 as well. So Jay struggling with the sprint race so far. So he'll be scoring no points. Toby P10 right now. I believe he needs to get up to P8 to score points. So I want to say yeah, but I'm not too sure. As we've actually got the McLaren going wheel to wheel with the Red Bull, and no contact made, which is actually quite nice. But the Red Bull getting a little bit of a moment there on the soft tyres. So he'll be looking to make the move once again up to P number potentially 1 as they zoom by the Red Bull of Must there. So Must not having the straight line speed than P2 or P2 now and P1, and IRT now takes the lead of the race. So I think he's pretty happy with that one. Yeah. Jay, 3-second time penalty as well for corner cutting. That's not ideal, so he's probably got wing damage. That is his race technically done and dusted. He'll go offline maybe, let these drivers by, because the more he tries to fight, or the more he tries to do, he'll just lose out, because P13, he's now got a 3-second time penalty, so he's now going to go backwards to P14 and P16 as well, which is also not good and not ideal. So a few drivers struggling here at Jeddah. Lap number 5 now, a lot of things happening, and a few drivers getting a little bit frustrated, to be honest. So not a good thing if I say, but it is what it is. Drivers are going to get frustrated here because it's Jeddah. Very tricky circuit for overtaking. So yeah. But now DRS activated for the Alpine of Crankshaft. But he's not gaining enough to get ahead of the Mercedes. Going a little bit deep almost. But managing to get a decent exit. But the Mercedes will probably get the hint of DRS, which is Moggy. And he doesn't get DRS, but he is quite close to the Aston Martin of AD. Is he looking to make the move as soon as he can, maybe? Going quite deep. Crankshaft not getting a superb exit. Moggy, maybe looking to make a move on the Aston Martin. Down to turn number 1 we go now. He's just not close enough. Not close enough to get up into P at number 14. But Toby just chilling. He could potentially move up to P8 if he does that right. And yeah. Lap number 6 out of lap 9. I would say 3 or 4 laps remaining till the sprint is done. And so far, the McLaren quite happy so far with P1 as he's actually breaking the gap to the cars behind. So he's been pushing. He is pushing to break the DRS. And does the Red Bull have it? No, he doesn't. But his teammate does. So they've now lost the lead. And the McLaren should be running away now, which is actually a good idea to do, as he'll be starting on pole position if he can keep it and leave no mistakes anywhere. But Must right now, on the back of his teammate, potentially looking to make the move into turn 27. Is the Red Bull going to go defensive? But IMV now will start to lose tyre grip as, you know, tyre wet deg is quite high at Jeddah, so it's not ideal to win the soft tyres. But down to turn 1 we go. He's gaining, but he's not gaining enough to make the move. But Luca right now, P4, not bad for him. Both Ferraris up in the top 5, both Red Bulls potentially getting a double whammy for the sprint race so far, which would be actually really, really good for those guys. Sergi, P7, kind of proud of him right there. Going a little bit deep on there though, might have a track limits warning, hopefully not, because I think he would really want to be qualifying for P7, but he's now got OML almost all over the back of him, but OML has got a 3-second time penalty, I believe, for multiple warnings. As we have Toby there. Yikes. The Alpine there in turn number 10 and 11 getting a massive moment on the rear end there. Car all over the place. And that was him almost out of the sprint race. Possibly not going to be able to get into the points now, as I believe you have to be P8 and above to get points. So Toby finishing P10 for the sprint, getting no extra points. But so far, Luca will be getting extra points, and Vassal to try and chomp down the gap to the championship leader right now. It's going his way so far for the sprint race. It's going his way, 100%. So he'll be really happy with that one. All the drivers now to lap number 8. 1 more lap to go until the sprint is over. And Luca will maybe set eyes here to ruin the Red Bull fun as he gets a little bit close for comfort on the back of Must there, getting a little bit aggressive, saying, hello, I am here, so make sure to give me room because I am coming to get past. That's what he's saying right now. Trust me. 110% that's what he's saying. So really close to the 2 Red Bulls. And has he got more battery than the other 2? He has. Obviously, P2, he's not got the battery to fight, but he can fight for P3 because he's got the battery. But the McLaren has just pulled away and pulled a really good amount of time. But so far, congrats to Sergi being able to keep those drivers behind, as the Aston Martin goes way too deep there, having to cut the corner, and that could potentially be another warning, which that's not ideal. So Sergi's got one more lap to defend, but it doesn't matter because if Sergi doesn't pick up a time penalty and say Button and then OML gets past, Sergi will still get those places back as they have time penalties for track limits. So it doesn't really matter if Sergi lets these drivers past or not. But onto the penultimate lap of the sprint race now to get it done and dusted. The Red Bulls maybe getting a little bit feisty here. Down to number 1. And there's no moves yet as Tony has lost places left, right and centre, then gaining them back. So I don't really know what's going on there. So we'll see that in a bit because I'm focusing on the top 3 right now because there could be something spicy happening, but nothing happening just yet. Let's have a look here. What's going on? J, P12 now. Aston Martin are going way too deep. That could have been contact between those 2. So J will drop down, possibly down to P13, possibly P14, if Crankshaft catches up just about enough. Yeah, but J not having a great opener to the sprint so far. I think he'll be quite frustrated with that sprint race to win, and probably one to forget about. But on the back of Sergio right now, Button is getting ever so close. So he might be looking to make the move. And Sergi keeping calm and collected, hopefully not any contact so he doesn't crash or anything. And he'll be up into P7. Luca, though, going faster. But I don't think he's going to have enough time to get into P3. He's got a crash. And that is the Aston Martin of AD out of the sprint race. But the Red Bull going for the dive in turn 27 now. Bit of contact, a little bit of oversteer. The Ferrari could get a really good exit here on Must. It could be a dragline race to the start and finish. But the Red Bull's going to hold out there. And across the line. And that's the sprint done. Obviously the McLaren across the line a lot earlier. And up into P1. He'll be starting, obviously, P1 in the race. And Sergi P7. He'll be glad to have kept those two cars behind, as those two will get in too close for comfort. So Sergi will be really happy with that one. Other drivers crossing the line now. And, yeah, Jay down to P11. Oh, not P. He's up in P11. So not bad for Jay, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get into the top 3. But that was not a bad sprint race to watch, and I'm glad they're back because that was quite enjoyable to watch, to be honest. So, GG's to the winners of the sprint race. Obviously, on now to the race. So, we'll see how that one gets on. That's going to be quite exciting to watch. Exciting indeed. So, the results for the weekend so far. You had to be in the top 8 to score points, which Toby missed out on. But McLaren, P8, 8 points, sorry. So he'll be quite happy with that one. You've got Luca scoring 5, Fassal scoring 4. So it's chomping down the gap to the championship leader right now. So, like I said, he'll be very happy and chuffed with that one. But now we sit tight and we move on over to the race in 10 seconds time. So bear with and we'll get into it. Right then, so into the race now. All I can really see is just T-posing. Left, right and centre. Okay, so we're starting in 10 seconds time. And here we go then. All the cars nicely on the grid, qualified in the sprint race, qualified for the race. Everyone looking very nice on the grid. 5 red lights, and it's lights out. And away we go for the race here at Jeddah. Round number 9, it's tier 7. Lights out, and away we go. Right then, turn number 1, and I must say, McLaren and Red Bull going wheel to wheel now, and the McLaren up into P number 1. We've got Fassal losing out quite a lot of positions there. I believe we got forced off the track by a few drivers there, and it's him down to P number 8, which is not ideal for the Ferrari right there. So, yeah, not great there. Not first opener that Fassal would have been looking for. Jay up into P number 10, so he's got 1 position already gained, and he'll be quite chuffed for that one. We've got Mercedes and IML out of the race under VSC conditions now. Oh no, never mind. It's gone to a full safety car. Lap number 1, and we've already lost an Aston Martin and a Mercedes. And we've got a safety car. So I believe the Mercedes and the Aston Martin will be quite frustrated with that one. They didn't even get to complete a lap, and they've already DNF'd. So, big question is, as we've got a safety car, let's have... Oh, no, that's the wrong button. Let's have a look at the detail of tyres then. So, the majority on the hards, but half on hards, half on mediums, you could say. But anyone regretting the mediums, are they going to be in the pits? No. No, no. Yes. Must into the pit lane. Luca, no. Both Ferraris out. Stone in the Haas in. Toby in. Vassal in. Aston Martin in. Moggy in. With no front wings. That's not ideal. McLaren out. Haas in. Tony in as well. With no front wing. Okay then, so rest of the grid out on old tyres. Everyone in for new. Got 2 5-second time penalties going out to the Haas of Chayu and AD in the Aston Martin. Probably for speeding in the pit lane. Having a look at position wise as well. Oh, what's the wrong button? Most gaining is up to Chris. Up 11 places into P number 8. JP6. Most losing places is going to be Must in the Red Bull. Obviously boxed for a fresh set of tyres and losing out 10 places there. So not ideal for the Red Bull there. Not ideal whatsoever. He won't be very happy with that one, shall I say. Not happy indeed. So... yeah, if you're just tuning in, a warm welcome to you guys. Yes, we've got a safety car, funnily enough, on lap 1. We've lost a Mercedes so far and an Aston Martin. I think there was contact between the two, and obviously not ideal and stuff like that. But we're going to get rid of the position changes, and we're just going to sit tight and wait to see what actually happens. So the safety car won't be in this lap. It'll be in lap number 4. And we'll get a restart on lap number 4 when we cross the line. So sit tight. It won't take too long. And we'll get things started here. But what's quite interesting to know is if we look at the tyres again, obviously we've got Moggy, an interesting one. Interesting aggressive strategy. Boxing for the soft tyres. You've got the Red Bull and Must boxing for a fresh set of mediums. But you got Fassel and Toby who are boxed for a fresh set of hards. Same as Stone. Same with Chayu. And others boxing for mediums. So I'm guessing the hard tyres could go to the end of the race. But to be honest, I'm not too sure. They possibly could, but the tyre deg won't be very nice, and the grip as well will be absolutely horrendous and not great. So yeah, I think for now they'll be praying for another safety car, maybe a VSC, or maybe just waiting for those guys to box, and then when they do box, then they will have enough time, build a gap, box again for the soft tyres, and away they go, basically. But everyone, and I mean everyone, has caught up with the safety car. So the restart will happen, like I said, on lap 4. And then we get 3 laps without DRS, so that'll probably be lap number 6 or 7, when we get the hint of DRS and see what drivers can do with the toe, the wing open, and stuff like that. Oh, hello, OML. Sorry about your contact. Is everything okay? What actually happened, if you don't mind me asking? I know you had contact. Was it with the Mercedes or something? Because I didn't really see what happens because I was too focused on the top 5. So you don't have to let me know if you want to, because I know you'd be quite frustrated at the moment. But if you want to let me know, feel free to. Just so I get a grasp. But like I said, if you want to, you can. You don't have to, because I know you could be pretty annoyed right now. But safety car in this lap. And we're going to ride on board with Luca. And we're going to see... I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. Let's see what his restart is like. Oh, you spun. Okay, and some car crashed into you. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you've got... What race is next? I can't actually remember what race is next. But I don't think it's not a bad race. But anyways, enough about that. Restart is on the way. Luca getting an amazing restart on the Red Bull. No dive coming into turn number 1. But looking at the rest of the grids, getting a pretty late breaking move on Sergio right there. P5 right now. Is he going to look to make a move on Button? Turn 1. Cool. Almost. Sergio almost had it, but Button getting the better drive, the better exit, the better traction. P4 for the Alfa Romeo. Someone else. It's Fasol. Fasol's out. Fasol is out. At turn number 3. He's not going to be scoring points today. We've got Sergi as well. He's spun. Getting off the racing line there. Quite nice for him to do that. But that is not ideal. So many drivers losing it. And that's Fasol out. So he will not gain any points today. Or he gains some. But he won't gain any main points in the race today. So that's really not ideal for the fight for the championship. But we've got Tony right now, P11. And Pap going deeper than going wide. And letting the Alfa Romeo by. But I believe he has got damage. So he's just letting the cars by. Which is actually fair plays. Fair dues. Toby up to P12 now. Setting eyes to get past Chayu. Who's in P11 right now. And yeah, that McLaren, it seems to have quite a serious amount of damage. Quite a nice camera angle view of that there. But right now, P8 and Must is made up of a few positions on the medium tyres. Chris, probably getting quite aggressive now. Probably trying to make a move on crankshaft. Down to turn 1 we go. They're actually going to go wheel to wheel. And that's Chris just flying by. Having more wing, probably lower than the Alpine, but the Alpine getting back at him into turn 1, and he's done. He's by. He'll say, thank you very much. I'll take my position, thank you. So he'll now try and run away and see what he can do. Jay, P4, trying to catch Luca now. That'll be his main objective, to get Luca and then stay. And then we've got a lot of drivers as well into the pit lane. We've got Toby in on a fresh set of mediums. Pap on a fresh set of mediums, and AD on a fresh set of hards. And then the McLaren, who is 3.8 ahead of the rest of the field right now. Not bad there. But the Red Bull is going to be under pressure from Luca right now, as a DRS will be activated very, very shortly on lap 6, I believe. So the advantage Luca will have is into P2. And Jay, now on those hards as well, has the advantage as well, because he's in range of DRS detection with the top 2. So Jay will be pretty happy with that one. And he's managed to almost get a 1 second gap between himself and Crankshaft. But Crankshaft back in it again, and he'll be getting hit with the DRS. So the field quite close together. P8 right now for Must. Looking to make it P number 7. Down to turn 1 we go. Not gaining enough though. And DRS hasn't popped up as being activated. So I believe it's lap 7 that will get the hint of DRS. So we will see what happens with that one. We've got yellow flags once again. And that is going to be... That is the McLaren of IRT. And I believe that's going to be a VSC or a safety car. Not too sure yet. But that is really, really unfortunate for the McLaren after having such a good sprint and a strong sprint as well. Diving up to P1, he finds himself out of the race. He is out. And it's no safety car. It's definitely a VSC. So that is really unfortunate from IRT there. So we now lost 4 drivers from this race. 4. So some drivers quite frustrated at the moment. Understandable. So we're going to see what happens. And see when this VSC will go away and see who will get the better restart. Just waiting now. Luca as well, quite close to the Red Bull. They're just keeping the tyres warm, waiting for the VSC to say we're going to get back up to racing speed. So they're just sitting tight and waiting now as DRS is enabled and VSC is gone and Luca is on the back of this Red Bull. And what's quite ideal for Luca right now is he's in P2. After our IRT crashing, Jay finds himself in the podium position, so he'll be quite happy with that one. Crankshaft P4, Moggy losing out, or I say losing out, gets back up into P number 8. The Haas might get a move done here. No, he doesn't. He stays behind the Alfa Romeo of Tony. Tony P9 right now. Happy with that result so far. Crankshaft got a time penalty. That's probably for 3 seconds for going off the track and back on the track. You want to keep it on the track and not go off if you don't want to have a penalty like Crankshaft did, but not ideal, but it is what it is. But look at Luca so far. Luca quite close, and DRS will be enabled. What's the straight line speed like? What is the straight line speed on that Ferrari? What is it? Let's see. Riding on board with the Ferrari. That looks tasty. That does look a bit tasty. Again. You know what? This is like a Max Verstappen and a Charles Leclerc moment, because if he goes for the move here, the Red Bull could probably get the move done here, but he's going to do a Max Verstappen actually and stay behind and then turn on that battery, open that wing and get by into turn 1 then. So here we go then. Ferrari, never mind, he's turned off the battery, but is he going to get close enough into turn 1? He's looking. He was thinking about it and then pulled back into the rear wing of the Red Bull. After all of that thinking, do I pass, do I not pass? Jay right now is quite close on this battle. And Moggy is possibly going to lose out to this one. As the Alfa Romeo was looking to make a move, but Moggy still stays P8. Sergi P10, potentially looking to make it P number 9 if he can get past the Alfa Romeo. The Haas as well. Of Chayu looking quite close right now. God, it's all getting quite intense now, guys. Getting really intense for these drivers. The Mercedes goes a little bit wide, which is not ideal though, at turn 10 I believe it was. Riding on board with him right now, losing out to Tony, and Sergi going down the inside there, and Moggy losing 2 positions. 2 positions lost by the Mercedes. Now he's going to have pressure from Chai, but Chai has smacked the wall there. Hopefully that's not wing damage. If it is, that's really unfortunate for him there. But Sergi going back up to P8 now. So he finds himself in P8. Hang on, we've got a battle as well. Down at the end of turn 27, up to turn 1 now. The Ferrari switches on the battery. But all over him is Jay at the moment as well. So Jay looking to make a move shortly. But after all that squabbling and fighting, that is allowing this little train to form down to P7. So the P7, there's a train up to P1. And there's a train from P9. Or, sorry, yeah, let's say that. There's yellow flags. Is that a spin? I think that was Sergi losing out a few places there, down to P12 now. Not ideal for the Williams right there. As the AlphaTauri Chris under pressure from the Red Bull going around the outside of turn 13, finding himself up and past the AlphaTauri up to P5 now. He'll probably set eyes on P4 as he goes a little bit too deep there, but keeping the position. I might add a little bit of a warning there. Yellow flags again, and that's going to be Tony and the Williams. No front wing for the Williams, and that's another VSC on lap number 9. We're getting quite a lot of VSCs today, I'll tell you that. Quite a lot. But now, this gives a chance for the old tyres to breathe a little. But it also gives the advantage to the guys who pitted on a fresh set of tyres. You can save those tyres, they can breathe them a little, make them go longer. And into pit lane, funny enough, we have Crankshaft. We'll go for a set of hard tyres. Red Bull are also into the pits. No mind, they were out. They're out, but they're not coming in yet. Haas of Stone to the pit lane as well. Fresh set of mediums. And then Alfa Romeo into the pits for a set of hards and a front wing change. Not ideal there. Ferrari all over the back of the Red Bull right now, but obviously can't make a move yet as we're under yellow flag conditions. And a delta of safety car, or VSC. But as I say that, we're back over. And someone's got a drive through. Chris up to P5. Was that Chris who got the drive through? No, what it wasn't. It was Button who got the drive through. Stone retiring as well. Crashing at the exit at turn 3, I believe. Oh, I want to have that on. I want to turn that off. Right, okay. Enough of messing around those buttons. Must not getting the best of restarts, but still within a second to get DRS. But the top 3 now setting pressure as Red Bull loses out to Luca, who goes up into P1. And when is Jay going to make the move? That's the big question. Jay, after getting a poor exit, finding himself not to be competitive. But the Red Bull getting past the Ferrari once again into turn 1. And it's a Charles Leclerc and a Max Verstappen moment. And a remake is happening right now. As they both go quite deep, which will allow Jay to get a little bit closer than usual, as we've got Button into the pit lane. And what tyres is he on? Have a look here. Here's a fresh set of hards. Oh, and that's the Red Bull and Must going way too deep and way too wide at turn number 8. That was way too deep. Way too wide. Almost in the wall, but I'm glad he didn't go in the wall there. So, high hopes, and I think he's pretty chuffed and proud of that one. So, that was a close one for the Red Bull. But luckily, in no trouble whatsoever. But riding on board with the top 3 once again as we get a position change from Chayu. Moggy down to P8. Chayu in the house up to P number 7. And looking elsewhere, saying about the top 3. Luca could make the switch again. Make the switcheroo with the hint of DRS. That's about to happen once again. He switches on the battery. And he's doing it. He's going for it. He's going to go for the move, I think. He is in 10:27. Almost into the back of the Red Bull. He's actually, I think he's lifting off. He is lifting off the throttle and is staying behind. So he's going to do what Max Verstappen did and stay behind and then go by. But this could also allow Jay to get past as well. So battery switched on for Luca. Is the battery switched on for Jay? The battery is switched on for Jay. So Jay's going to actually go for a move here, I think. Turn 1. And the Ferrari is stuck behind the Red Bull. It's quite tight for the drivers, and Jay getting a moment there, having that moment, finds himself past the Ferrari, now wheel to wheel, and he's done and dusted and passed. GG's to that. Awesome racing. Some awesome side-by-side action. This race is going to be long. It is indeed. It is indeed. Hopefully, not too long though. So, lap number 12. Jay finds himself in P2 right now. Potentially P1. Must looking quite close on the back of the Ferrari as well. Maybe looking to make a move potentially. Going around the outside and not making the move there. But obviously he's draining that battery. You don't want to drain too much if you're within the second with the drivers. But actually we've got some action here from AD and Tony now. Tony P11 keeping that position. And a little bit of a drift from Moggy right there. No, this is not, obviously this is not a drift simulator. But also those tyres are going to be cold. And he'll need to warm them up a little bit more, but not bad that as I say that. And he's gone. He's binned it. I've cursed him. I feel quite bad now. And that's a safety car on lap number 12. So now that gives the advantage to the drivers who haven't boxed yet. But that's really unfortunate. Really a disappointment that that's happened to Moggy. Because Moggy was having such a good race. Cold tyres on hards are not great. Not great indeed. That's really unfortunate from the Mercedes right there. Jay had quite a tough track as we've seen. Jay's into pit lane. fresh set of mediums. Christopher Lane, AlphaTauri double stacking. He's in the pits for a fresh set of hards. And yeah. I know, safety car. It will either be lap 16 or lap 17 we get a restart here. Because everyone's got to catch up. Excuse me, I'm yawning a bit as well. So now it's going to be quite an interesting battle because the guys who boxed earlier have been saved and can go for a fresh set of tyres. Yeah, it is. It's such a nice track, but it is frustrating. So, yeah. And Must as well, and the Red Bull getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And what's going on here? Contact between Tony and Toby. And Toby's actually getting that position. So, yeah. Quite close for some drivers right now. Some drivers getting quite frustrated as well. So that's not ideal there. Do. Wow, this is quite an interesting one because the safety cars, people boxing, and it's going to be like what tyres they're going to go for because Red Bull into pits, obviously a fresh set of mediums. So yeah, interesting there, but also the Red Bull getting past Tony as well. So the Red Bull losing positions, but not losing much. So he'll be okay with that one. So yeah. All the drivers now catching up and bunching up. So I could be wrong here. It could be a lap 15 restart, but they have got the McLaren to wait for as well. So McLaren might be forgotten about. Might be forgotten about, unfortunately, because it might just come in. So lap 14, safety car. Could it be in? So, yeah, really. So, we'll just sit tight and see what happens. McLaren might be lucky here and they might wait for that car, so it is what it is. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. So, yep. Yep, stays out, so lap 16, we'll get a restart on the safety car as the McLaren will be caught up, and we will see what happens. So, if you guys are just tuning in, a warm welcome to you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the race so far. A lot of drama going on here at Jeddah, I must say. So, not ideal, but it is what it is. Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. A lot of crazy things going on. So, as we can see on my screen now, as I was doing something, and I've finished what I was doing and actually getting ready to race once again here at the circuit of Jeddah, street circuit as well known as. We're actually getting ready to race once again. Obviously, Jay is now the leader. He will back the pack up and he will get racing once again. Lap number 16. And when is he going to react? Reacts now and he goes, and Luca, not a great reaction from him. Chayu quite close. Red Bull not doing too bad. Elsewhere, a dive from Button maybe. Late braking turn 1. He was looking. But on the scene is Sergi looking at the move. Chris losing out to that and the Red Bull getting past Chris. Sergi trying to make a move. Probably frustrated in the cockpit right now after missing out on that one. Not ideal for the Williams right there. As we get a spin from Must as well. He spun it. At turn 10, I believe. So, really unfortunate there for him. On the hards as well. It must have been cold. Otherwise there was contact. But so far, Chayu is losing touch of the front two. They're just pulling away and running away now. Completely running away. So it could get quite spicy for the top two. Very spicy indeed. But Crankshaft managing to stay within DRS range so far, but there will be 3 laps without the DRS. So it'll be lap 19 it does return. As we get a position loss, and that's Chris and Sergi attached, or was that, yeah, it was Chris and Sergi that were attached on that corner, and potentially Chris to pit lane with front wing damage, and Toby getting past Sergi as well. Chris tiring from the session, and Toby obviously getting past, and now he sets eyes for Crankshaft as Crankshaft is trying to make moves up on the Red Bull in front. And the Red Bull should make a move up to P number 4. Eyes on Button right now. But Chayu has completely lost touch of the front two. They're just pulling away now and running away. Absolutely. Crazy, crazy scenes going on here at the circuit of Jeddah tonight. Probably a lot of reports going to happen as well. So, yeah. A lot's going to happen tonight. Red Bull, like I said, is gaining, and he is gaining and gaining, and is gaining fast on Button. Having that tyre advantage, as I believe Button is on. Oh, he's on the mediums too, but the wings, you know? The wings. Helping out that Red Bull. Helping him enough. A beautiful shot of the helicam right there. Red Bull's going around the outside. He's going to go for it. Down to time 27. Side by side. Red Bull might go for the switchback. He doesn't. But he goes for a look for a move, but doesn't. Now he's going to do it. Turn 1. Up into P4. Past the Alfa Romeo. And potentially up to P3 very, very shortly. Turn 1 now. And the Red Bull is by. He'll say thank you very much. I'll take that one. Now, P3, come here. He'll really, really, really want P3. Sergi all over the back of Toby as well. Yeah. I'll say that Musk was getting quite close to Tony there. So Musk could probably make a move. Superb exit from him, I must say. He's going to do it. He's going to do it, you know. He's going to do it indeed. Down the inside turn 13. Around. And he goes. A little bit of wheel contact, but that is Musk through. And now he's going to chase after P10 to get into the points once again. McLaren setting eyes to get to the Aston Martin, but not having the pace so far. The Aston Martin with AD running away and trying to gain Sergi. Sergi trying to get past Toby right now and not managing to do so. But Toby is going to be under pressure. Down to turn 27 we go now. DRS for the Williams. He's going for it, you know, side by side. And he does. Toby, I believe, just let him by. But who's going to get DRS out of this one? It's going to be Toby who gets the DRS. So he might go for the switchback on the Williams. Not too sure though. But the Alfa Romeo looking to make a move on the Red Bull as the Red Bull is actually up to P3, which I just realised that now. So Chayu's lost 2 places out of that one. And now he's got pressure from Crankshaft as well. Sergi having a moment there and has lost out there with potentially no DRS, but he is trying to come back and he's in the 1 second range once again. So we'll see if he can make an improvement anywhere on the track at all. But Crankshaft getting closer and closer by the second on that Haas car. Getting ever so close. Same with Button. Getting close to the Red Bull. Of course, the Red Bull has no DRS, so it's going to be easier for the Alfa Romeo just to cruise up onto the back of him. As we've got a switch for the lead here. And it is, you know, Luca getting past. And Jay now behind the Ferrari. But what's going to happen now? Sector 3. He's going to get the hint of DRS. And is he going to make the move down to turn 27? Or is he going to wait to make the move down to turn 1? We wait to see what happens. What is going to happen? Nothing just yet. He is waiting. And he might potentially make the move now. Right on board with the AlphaTauri. Turns on the battery. Switches it off. Has DRS. Doesn't seem to make a move yet. Lap 20. 5 more laps to go of Jeddah here. And so far the Ferrari is on top. All drivers getting close now. Very, very close for some drivers. Obviously, Chayu trying to get back to where he was, but I don't think he's going to be able to as the front two are looking really, really pacey. Sergi closer right now to the back of Crankshaft. Toby, he's 1.2 behind Sergi right now, but Sergi looking to potentially make the move up to P number 6 past Crankshaft. Crankshaft looking a little bit wobbly there, which is actually not ideal. And that might give Sergi the hint that he's either got damage or he is struggling on tyres. Which wouldn't be ideal for the Alpine. Riding on board with Sergi, he's flying by. And he's gone. P6 for Sergi. P7 for Crankshaft. Potentially lower as he has a penalty. Now Sergi will set eyes for the Haas up ahead as well. So it's all popping off tonight. It's all popping off. And it's crazy. Right on board with Button as well. Because he might make the move to P number 3. If he gets a really good exit. And I believe he has. As we've got Pap and Musk going at it. And Pap getting past the Red Bull there. Anyways, riding on board with the Alfa Romeo. Doesn't seem to be pushing. And looking to make the move just yet. But as they stay behind. Sergi's now closed up to the back of this little train that's going up to P number 3. So Sergi might be looking for a podium here, but we'll see what happens as Pup looking to fight with the Red Bull. Bit of contact between the two. The Red Bull does seem to have gotten past though, and that's the Red Bull P10 right about now. Not bad for him there. But Jay is losing touch a bit of the Ferrari. Ferrari is actually burning the battery to try and run away and get away from Jay himself. So Jay looking to struggle on those tyres as the Ferrari has managed to achieve the 1 second gap. But how long is that going to stay there for? Because Jay is known for being quite quick, and he is on the medium tyres. And I believe Luca is also on the mediums. But has anyone got older tyres than the rest of the grid? No, they're about the same lap of tyre age. So, yeah. Luca is trying to run away now, as Jay has gone purple in Sector 2 right now. So it's looking game on for the AlphaTauri. Game on indeed. So we're going to see what happens here. He is closer, and he's been closer beforehand. But is he looking to make the move? No, he's not. He might just stay behind. He is staying behind. Sergi a bit far back as well. He's 1.2, so he's got no DRS as well, but he'll be hoping that the front two will fight a little bit. But so, like I said, Jay is a lot closer than he was last lap. But all about that battling, Toby has managed to catch up to this little train as well. So Toby needs to make the moves as soon as he can if he wants, and I mean it, if he wants to be within DRS range. Or not DRS range. He's to be in, like, with touching distance to make the moves, basically. That's what he needs to do right about now. That's what he needs to do, which he's proving so far. We're going to go back on board with Jay, though, to see if he'll make the move in Sector 2 before we get to Sector 3. But, to be honest, he just seems to be chilling right about now. Just seems to be chilling. Not much going on from the front two yet. But as I say, that Jay has been closer and closer and closer and closer. This is closer he's got. But I believe Luca is burning that battery. And when he's burning that battery, to be honest, Jay will be happy with that. Chris, hello. Very sorry to hear about your race, my friend. Very sorry indeed. Sorry about that one. Hopefully you get, you know, have a better one next week. I believe it's a break week next week, I can't remember. I know, F Sergi indeed. He was... Oh, he's got a time penalty, I just realised. And they swapped the lead up ahead. The Red Bull is still ahead of the drivers, it seems. So not much to say about that one, to be honest. But 2 more laps of racing to go here at Jeddah. And it's all going well. It's all going well. So it's not going too bad for these drivers. I think they're enjoying themselves. Well, some of them. There's been a few bits of contact, obviously, with Sergi and Chris. That wasn't ideal because I believe Chris kind of got put into the wall there by Sergi with the connection. So, like I said, that wasn't ideal. As I got a little bit closer, so sorry if that was a little bit loud. I got too close for comfort there. So we've got yellow flags. And is someone round? I think someone was round. Was it the Haas that was round, actually, or Chayu? It might have been Chayu, or it must have been the Aston Martin, or potentially Crankshaft, who is P7 right now. And saying that Toby is now P6. So I believe one of the Alpines were around. I want to say it was Crankshaft, but I'm not too sure. So don't quote me on that, guys. Don't quote me just yet. Don't quote me. Or I ban you, Kappa. I'm joking. I'm not going to ban you. Why would I ban you guys? Right now, Toby is 2.2 behind. He'll provisionally get P4, which will be good for his championship battle so far. But Jay will want to be winning this race. So on the multiple lap of the race so far, and Jay will like say, please, 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 I want to win this. He doesn't want to bottle it. So hopefully there should be no bottles from the AlphaTauri, but we'll see what happens as Tony is into the pit lane. Is he retiring from the session? Maybe so. Hopefully not. But we will see what happens. He might be pitting for soft tyres. And it is soft tyres and it's a front wing change as well. So that's going to delay him even more, which is not ideal if he wants to get a chance of scoring points. Luca, 3-second time penalty as well. Oh no, it gets even worse. And what's worse is, if Toby can make it through this little pack that he's catching, if he can catch quicker, then he could potentially be in the mix for a podium. But so far, if the Red Bull starts pushing now, he could potentially be in the fight for P2. As Luca goes around Jay, the Turd 27, the last lap of this race, and surprisingly, I believe Jay has less battery than Luca. Down to turn 1 we go now. Is there going to be any moves for the lead into turn 1? Jay is looking to the inside, into turn 1. There's a bit of wheel bang, wheel contact. Both drivers keeping it clean though. Almost into the wall for the pair of them. And Jay is ahead. Jay wants to win this. He is determined to win, alright? He is determined to win this. And the Red Bull, after all that battling, has slowed the Ferrari down, which might allow the Red Bull to go up to P number 2. And I think the Red Bull would be really happy with that one. So we're coming down to the last lap of the race, of course. Last time here at Jeddah for this season so far. And Jay is ahead. But how long will he be ahead for? And hopefully he doesn't bottle anything. Elsewhere for some drivers, not looking too close if I say so myself. I will say that Button is unfortunately not going to make a move. But Sergi is getting quite close as he cuts the corner there. And it might be a warning. So that wasn't ideal for the Williams there. So he must have ran quite deep there, which is obviously not ideal and you don't want to be doing. So Sergio will need to be careful about that one. But so far, down to the wire, a lap 27. Both drivers giving it their all. Oh, it's going to be quite an interesting one. Who's going to get the better exit and the better line? Down to turn 27 now. Jay is going to defend the inside. Luca might go for the good old switcheroo, which he does. And he will get the better exit than Jay. He'll have the hint of DRS. But it's going to be down to the line. Who's going to come out on top? And it's... Wow, okay. So I don't think that was across the line. That penalty had already been served. Jay's taken the win there. That was like down to lines. That was amazing to watch. The Red Bull, after all that fighting, is promoted to P2. Luca down to P3. Not ideal for him. Button P4. Sergi P5. Toby P6 after all that. Crankshaft P7. AD P8. Must P9. Chayu P10. P11. For Pap and Tony, who'll be coming across the line very, very shortly, will be taking P number 12. So yeah, that's the race done and dusted, guys. I'm going to see if anyone would like any interviews, as unfortunately Messina crash, and that would have been Tony who crashed there, which ideally isn't the place to crash. So let's have a look to see if anyone would like an interview. So we will wait to see what happens with everyone else, to see if they'd like an interview and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, that was an awesome race to watch. So we'll sit tight for now to see if anyone would like to have one. IRT would like to have an interview, that's fine. So we're going to get an interview from the McLaren driver, who had an unfortunate crash in the race, but managed to have a good sprint race. So we'll get to him just in a second, as we're seeing the celebrations from the drivers. Yeah. Right then. So, as we're going to get ready for interviews, let's have one more look at the grid then, as we're just waiting for the game to load itself. So, GG's to that. So, that was an awesome race to watch there, I must say. Obviously, there is your grid. The Red Bull coming on top with some of the points, and then you have trying to think how this works. So that is really, like I said, your race done and dusted. You'll do an interview? That's fine, Jay. You can do one. That's fine. Give me just a second. I just need to get everything set up, and I can do a nice interview with us. So just bear with me, guys, and I'll get you sorted right about now. Let me just move to the interview section, and we'll bring the drivers up one by one. So Jay, I'll bring you up just a couple of seconds. If you want to mute for me, buddy, and then once I'm finished talking to IRT, I'll then talk to you. So if you want to come and join the channel, just make sure you're muted on Discord, and I'll drag you up, and then just have a bit of patience, and I'll get to you when I can get to you. Right then, let's get started with things, shall we then? Well, IRT, can you hear me? Hello?
Hear anything?
Oh, okay, you're a bit quiet.
No,
I'll turn it off a bit, so hopefully you should be loud enough.
I can hear.
Okay, good. Right, I can hear you too. That's good.
Just
Right
a
then.
headphone issue.
That's fine. So, where do I begin? Not a great race for you today. Well, I say a great race. Obviously, the sprint race went your way today. You know, you had a fun time racing at the sprint. Good qualifying. But what happened in the race?
Well, in turn 4, I think it is, there's a kind of a glitch. If you go close to it, like if you're really driving on the limit, it just takes your tire off.
Yeah.
And I was driving on the limit, and yeah, that's what happened. I couldn't do anything about it, really.
I mean, I'm guessing you feel a bit, what I would say, a bit frustrated, you know, after having such a good qualifying, and then such
qualifying was also
a good
a bit
sprint.
I was going for pole. I hit the wall on the out lap, so. But
well,
in general, after practicing a lot, I really did for this one because I want to get moved up some tiers. It really does not feel good to get ruined by a game glitch. 2 race wins ruined by a game glitch. So.
Yeah, I see. You're a bit frustrated because game glitches aren't the best and stuff like that. I could see a few drivers were quite annoyed today, with some of the issues with the game and stuff like that. But no, it was awesome watching you today. For obviously watching you at the sprint and then watching you during the qualifying and then having that unfortunate crash in the race. But no, you'll come better and stronger in the next one, which is going to be, off the top of my head, it'll be Abu Dhabi. So what you like with Abu Dhabi? Are you decent at that track? Well, decent pace? What you like?
I recently had quite the championship final there where I was fighting for a championship. So I have like 50 hours maybe on that track. I'm very good at it.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's good to hear. So we'll probably see a very competitive race from you there at Abu Dhabi at some point. Anyways then, if that's everything for you, I'd like to thank you for coming to have an interview today, and I'll see you again once we return for Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, hopefully I can get a reserve seat on.
All right then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
See you, man.
See you later.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
No worries, bye-bye. Right, on with Jay now. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
How are we feeling today? How are we feeling?
Really good.
Really good? That is absolutely awesome to hear. Obviously, you had such a great race today. Obviously, you had a struggle in the sprint race. If I say you lost quite a couple of positions after spinning. I believe it was turn 13. You had the low of a spin. But what a drive, You did the race and you managed to do an awesome comeback. Awesome comeback.
Yeah. In the sprint race, to be honest, don't really know. I was just doing my normal lap and the rear decided to say no on that lap, which I think I lost about 3 or 2 positions down into like P6,
Yeah.
and then on that long left hander, I lost it again. I think just hot tires or something. But yeah, I'm super happy to get back from about 11th on the grid to win the race.
And obviously that was as well. That will help you with the championship fight as well.
Yeah, yeah, that'll bring me a lot closer to Motion, and I think we've gone past Flavio, which is good now. So yeah, it's going to be tight for the remaining few races.
And that's what I like to hear. Quite exciting, and I cannot wait to watch that battle. But
Yeah,
no,
yeah, it's
after
going to be good.
watching on quite an interesting race, if I say so. Any highlights you want to bring?
No, I want to say GG to D1 Onzo and Luca. Built up a good fight. Unlucky with the Red Bull. Just not pitting on the correct lap to me and Luca, which lost him a lot of positions and probably maybe the race win. But yeah, I got some good moves, good switchbacks. You might have seen it. I'm not sure. Into I think it was the exit of turn 2. I got a good switchback on the Ferrari.
Yeah.
But yeah, just solid race.
Well, yeah, that's awesome to hear. Also got Abu Dhabi next week. How you feeling about that?
I haven't done much of it on the F1 game, but I've been practicing for a league race I did a few weeks ago, so I understand like the main basics of where to brake. 'Cause obviously this is my first year with no assist, so yeah, just look forward to it and see what result we can get there.
Alrighty, well, that's all I have to ask you today. I want to thank you very much for coming down for a interview, and I will see you again at Abu Dhabi once again. Congratulations on the race win, one step
Thank you.
closer to the championship. Oh,
Yeah,
it's going to be quite exciting. So I'll see you next week for
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much for coming down, and I will catch you
it's
in the
alright.
next one.
All right, see ya.
See you later. Bye bye. All right, guys. Well, that is it. Done and dusted for today. I'll catch you guys next week for Abu Dhabi. From me, Flynn, I'm signing off. Bye bye.